Okay, here's a look at FansToys FT-53 Parkour, which is their version of a masterpiece scaled cliff jumper. So first, let's take a close-up look at the box. So here's the front of the box with the really nice artwork of cliff jumper in robot mode and vehicle mode. And the back of the box, you get some product images with the bio that you can pause and read if you're interested. So that's nice. And the side of the box, you get Parkour FT-53. Other side, same thing. Top of the box, you get a nice image of the vehicle and the QR code that you can scan for the instructions and stuff if you're interested. I think it's cool that they do that now, so you don't really need to rely on video reviews so much anymore. And the bottom, same thing. So that's a look at the box. Really nice designed outline and stuff, colors, so really nice. And now let's come over here and go over some of his accessories it comes with. So he comes with this nice bazooka from that episode where he fired at Megatron, painted silver, and you got his nice handgun, also painted silver. Here you got the accessories, those skis from that episode, Dinobot Island Part 2, which is really nice. And down here, you got some alternative heads. So this is nice. They're not just faces, but you actually get the heads as well. So here we got a, what is that? Some kind of like angry screaming face. And then we got this semi-open face and this kind of like happy face. So that's really cool. You get these different head options. So now something else that you get, which I like, is the bio card. So yeah, these are always nice to collect. But my complaint as always is, you know, it's too bad they didn't make this the baseball size cards, but this is what we have, and you always have to zoom in to pause and read this because it's so small. So you can always pause and read that. So you get some nice product images and his stats, which I'm not sure what they are, but 4 seems kind of low. And last is the instructions booklet, which I like to go over because I think these are really nice compared to Takata's fold-up color sheet. This booklet design is really nice, and like the first page, you get the product with the accessories that you get, so this is really nice. And then the instructions or the detailed drawings, I think they do a really nice job on this. So let's just take a look. So you can always pause and refer to this for reference if you need. Yeah, I think this is cool the way they designed the detailed drawings. You can see they're nicely colored with the highlighted areas and the arrows. So yeah, I think they did a really nice job. So this is also very helpful in terms of transforming it, but you actually have to open the manual. I always thought this is funny. Okay, that's kind of cool. So got the video and also the instructions manual. This is kind of cool. So the handgun, you can attach it to the bazooka and attach it to the car, and down here you got the skis. So really nice. And again, the QR code, like I said. So get a nice instructions booklet or the video that they have. So really nice design for the box, the instructions, yeah, the accessories. So now onto the figure. So here's Parkour or Cliff Jumper. Really nice. They did a really nice job. So first of all, let's just look at this. I mean, this is nicely colored, nice materials, paint finish, nicely sculpted, the proportions. This is really another one of their really great figures. So now let's do this. Let's compare this with the animation model, and you could see, yeah, they did a pretty nice job. Just for the heck of it, I'll throw in my drawing of Cliff Jumper from a long time ago when, you know, I was drawing figures of what masterpiece figures we needed. So yeah, that's that. And then let's take a look at the side view. Same thing, very cartoon accurate. And even the back, they did a really nice job with that circle thing. So they did a really nice job on this figure. So now let's zoom in, get a closer look. So here's his head. Yeah, let's do this. Let's take a look at the head with the animation model. And you could see they did a nice job sculpting the head, capturing all the details. And even the side view is okay. I mean, I do agree with Bobby Skullface that nose seems a little long, in my opinion. But all in all the details they captured, very cartoon accurate, all the stripes and stuff. So really nice job. So now articulation, the head can go up, can swivel on that mushroom peg. You don't get a side to side, but you do get some nice articulation there. And then let's come here to the shoulders. This one is a little weird. You can see it's moving on this bar. It should be moving on the shoulder piece, but that's because this bar here is, the screw's a little loose and this shoulder piece is a little tight. But you just have to, you know, carefully manipulate it like so. So it can go up and down, out to the side, bicep swivel, elbows can go up and down. Hand swivel also, and it is a pin for all the fingers. So just your typical articulation. I don't really like going over the articulation because they're pretty much all the same unless there's something important to point out. You get waist swivel. You don't really get an ab crunch unless you open all this up, which I don't want to do. The legs, they do go front and back, out to the side. And I'm really loving these designs here of the hips incorporated with the thighs instead of those flaps. So this is really cool. You get thigh rotation, knee bend, really nice. And the feet, you do get ankle rocker, can go front and back. So your standard, typical articulation, which is really nice. So they did a really great job on this. And so now let's do this. Let's just do some comparisons. I didn't bring out all my masterpiece figures, but I only brought out some which I think are important to see. So here is the official Takata Hound. So you can see what these two guys look like together. These guys look really, it looks really good. So there he is with the Hound. And then with FansToys version of Mirage, this also looks really nice. You know, that episode Trader. So yeah, it's just the colors alone, they look good, the red and blue. So that's those two look like. And then in the movie, you know, he appeared with Jazz. So here he is with FansToys Jazz. So you can see this looks really, really nice. So I want to bring out all of my masterpiece, but I think I need to update my masterpiece collection so we can see what that all looks like. So yeah, here he is with some of the figures that he showed up in the cartoon. So that's a look at that. And let's see, did I cover everything? Yeah, so now let's do this. Let's transform him to his alt mode and take a look at the alt mode. Okay, here's a look at CLIFFJUMPER in his alt mode. And just a quick look at the figure all around. You could see they did a really, really nice job on this figure. I really like this. Very cartoon accurate. And they did put in a little bit of their own FansToys style. If you could see here, this chrome plated metallic red, which is a really nice accent. Not cartoon accurate, but you know, it's typical FansToys style. So I do like that touch there. Makes it look really nice. Makes it look more premium. And then some other things I like the transparent blue window, which I'm really, really upset that Takata's Bumblebee, they did not do that. So I'm hoping if and when FansToys does their Bumblebee, that it will have this nice blue window. And look at this. They did a nice job matching this paint, this blue paint to the window. So they did a really nice job matching the paint. Now I'm going to be really nitpicky here, but if you could see that little line there, I mean, they could have painted the sides, and up here they could have painted that top also, but that's being really, really nitpicky. But just pointing out, you know, that they could have made it super premium if they would have done that. But really nice. Everything, you know, is toleranced pretty well where they all line up. You can see all the parting lines, all the nicely sculpted detail. Again, I have nothing but good things to say. I like the side view mirrors, which interestingly they didn't paint that silver. So, but yeah, look at this. Look at these nice chrome wheels. So it's not detailed, but this is very cartoon accurate. So I really like that. So speaking of the cartoon, let's compare this with the animation model. And you could see, yep, they did a really nice job. They really made this vehicle look a lot like the cartoon. And even the back view also looks really, really nice. You know, I think maybe it should have been cut out here, you know, for the spoiler piece. Maybe they could have put a little dab of silver paint for the side view mirrors, but yeah, for the most part, this looks really, really nice. So now let's just kind of go over some of the articulation. I guess it rose really nice on these really nice rubber wheels. So again, this is a very premium figure. And features, so this is really cool, how you can actually open the door on this. This is really nice. I'm sure if you wanted to squeeze in a figure like the Takata Bumblebee, maybe you could do something like that, but actually not really. But just pointing out, this is really nice. I really like that feature there. You don't get any other features like in the cartoon where, you know, oh yeah, that back scene where, you know, a gun came out shooting, or even up here, but that's just extra accessories you don't need. But speaking of accessories, you do get these ski things, which was appeared in that episode, Dinobot Island Part 2, I think. Okay, so let's see. This is the first time I'm doing this, so let's see how this works here. Looks like you're just supposed to just push this in, and these are extra accessories that you don't really need, but I guess they're nice to have for those people who actually uses these things. I guess they would appreciate it, but I don't, so these are not really practical for me. And as I'm saying all that, I'm just paying attention to how easily these go in. So I think they did a nice job on designing this. I think this is better than that sled by X-Transbots. So this is really nice. So yeah, take a look at that. That's kind of cool. You can replicate that scene where, you know, he was there with tracks and sea spray, and yeah, so that's cool. So, and they easily go in and easily come out, so that's really nice. And it's nice how they actually painted it silver too. So really nice job on the accessory there. So anything else I want to point out here in the vehicle mode? No, well, I'll just say this. When you're transforming this figure, because a lot of people complain and stuff, saying it's very finicky, but I just want to point out, as long as you know what you're doing and you're being very careful, yeah, there really is no issues with transforming. There are just some differences in this particular figure, you know, like it's kind of like a page from X-Transbots where all these, you can see that, how you're going to have to bend and stretch a little bit of the plastic to get these to go in. So that's something kind of new with the this figure by FansToys. But you see, as long as you know what you're doing, you can make it work. And there are other areas like right here also, but let me just show you how I do that. I don't like doing these transformation videos because so many people do it, and I'm going to point out some people, they don't do a really good job. But these third-party companies are making their own videos, so you almost don't need it. So that's one reason why I don't like making transformation videos. But I do like to point out some things. So here, here's another area where you could see that little hook there. Yeah, you're gonna have. So one way I found to do this area is kind of bend it here. You could see at the angle, and then you kind of have to tuck in this hook inside. And yeah, I can see how people are complaining because this is one of those where you're gonna have to bend and stretch the plastic piece to get it in. But once you get it in like that, then I just like to kind of straighten it out. There you go. Very easy. And there are other areas like that, but like I said, I don't do transformation videos. And one thing I did want to point out is the tolerance, where, you know, things tabbing in, things moving. And what I noticed is it's the saturation of the paint. So let me just see if I can point it out. So right here you could see how that tab's supposed to go in. I had to kind of scrape off a little bit of the paint because it was so tight. But interesting, this side was so much easier. It just easily goes in, comes out, goes in. And again, I think from what I'm noticing, that's the paint saturation. So this side has a little bit more paint, which makes it really hard to manipulate. This side, they did a good job. It easily goes in. And there are many other areas, like, let me see. There's a ball joint here where, you know, it kind of moves very easily, but then the other side, it's so tight. That's why I saw Bobby's skull face. It just popped right off because it's so tight because of the paint saturation, just manipulating it. Yeah, it causes all that friction. That's where you get all this FansToys squeaks too. So there are other areas like that, but like I said, for the most part, as long as you know what you're doing and you're being very careful, yeah, there really is no issues. So that's enough rambling. So I just wanted to just go over some things in the alt mode. This looks really nice. So with that said, let's transform him back to robot mode and have our final thoughts. Okay, here we have CLIFFJUMPER back in robot mode. And my final thoughts on this figure. This is another great figure made by FansToys. Truly a premium figure that fits in really nice with your masterpiece collection. And for me, I don't really have any issues with this figure in terms of transforming it, manipulating it, tabbing things, untabbing things, because like I already pointed out, as long as you know what you're doing, meaning, you know, you're very aware of how the things are supposed to move, and you're being very careful, you should have no issues with this whatsoever. But with that said, there are some issues that I've already pointed out, which is the tightness due to the saturation of the paint, which makes manipulating it a little bit difficult. So let me just kind of show you here. I don't like doing transformations, but this is a good way to see if I can point some of them out. So you could see this back piece, right? And I just want to point out, let's see, let's do this one here. This one here is on a ball joint, and so you could see it moves pretty easy. But this side, yeah, you can see it's already bending because of the friction, the tightness, and you can even hear all that squeak. And that's because of the saturation of the paint, which makes it very tight and difficult to manipulate this figure. So, you know, I mean, that's the only issues. I mean, throughout this figure, it's like that. But like I said, if you're aware of it and you know what you're doing, meaning you know how to manipulate this and where you're moving things to, and you're being very careful, like applying the force that this part needs because it's so tight, you should have no issues. Other areas here, this one, like I said, it doesn't have that saturation problem, so it moves easy. And then, yeah, I want to get here because people are always pointing out the issues here, like untabbing it. You just have to know how to untab it. And if you don't want this ball joint to pop off, I mean, you have to be aware of things. So let me first move this out of the way so you can see. So, you know, obviously you could see where it opens, so you know it manipulates that way. But on the bottom here, you can see, well, kind of hard to see, but it does open up here also. So you can see how this moves, how it's supposed to move. So you just have to be aware of it and carefully maneuver it around like so. Because if you don't, then yeah, you can easily pop that off. So that's what I mean about you have to know what you're doing, like how this moves and manipulates, and being very careful. You won't have any problems whatsoever. Except for, like I was telling you, some areas on this figure where the paint saturation is causing the parts to be really tight and stuff. So let's see if I can get this. It's always hard doing, that's another reason why I don't do the transformations, because trying to get this all on film is a little difficult. Why you're trying to see it, but there you go. Like I said, as long as you know what you're doing, like how you're moving and manipulating it, and you're being very careful, no issues. Other than the tightness of parts, like even right here. See, you can hear that tightness. And here, same thing. And also people are pointing out that bar up here. So like I said, as long as you're aware of it and you know how you're trying to manipulate it, like this shoulder is pretty easy, you know, it just rotates front and back, and you're careful, there's no issues. I mean, I don't want to go through this whole figure, but there are other issues like down here as a result of the tightness from the paint saturation. But it's the same thing. You just have to be aware of it. Know what you're doing in terms of how it's supposed to move and tab in and stuff, and be very careful. No issues. So yeah, those are my thoughts on this figure, to what other people are saying about this, because there are no issues with this figure for me. Now with that said, I am not planning to do a comparison with X-Trans bots, because all you have to do is just look at it. There's no comparison, and that's, you know, because this one's more with the new trend of the hypertoon aesthetic. And in all fairness, X-Trans bot's an older figure that was based more realistic. But aside from that, I mean, all you have to do is just look at the sculpt, the proportions, they're all off. So X-Trans bots, that wasn't really a good designed figure. I had it, another masterpiece figure I gave away, so I know what's involved with that. I don't want to get all into it. Someone else already did the comparison, but yeah, just pointing out there's no comparison. FansToys, out of all the CLIFFJUMPERs made already, this one beats them all, no question. If anything, I think I will do an update to my CLIFFJUMPER collection, so you could see all the CLIFFJUMPER that I have, and maybe an update of my masterpiece, because this is a masterpiece. So that's my final thoughts, and I'm gonna give this a rating of 9 out of 10. That's how great this figure is. So that's my review for FansToys Parkour, or CLIFFJUMPER.
CLIFFJUMPER, what are you doing? I've got Megatron dead center in my viewfinder. Let's burn rubber. That's CLIFFJUMPER. You traitor, I've been waiting for this!